All right, so you sent over a ton of information on Android security, and
Yeah.
looks like you're ready to get serious about protecting that device of yours.
Mm.
And I don't blame you. Our phones are like little digital extensions of ourselves these days. I mean,
Yeah.
they got everything on them, from those embarrassing selfies to, well, let's face it, some pretty sensitive financial data.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely got to make sure that stuff stays safe.
For sure.
Now, you've got this podcast script in here.
Right.
Seems to be focusing on spotting and dealing with those nasty phone hacks.
Mhm.
So I figure, why don't we dive into that first? Get the ball rolling.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah, learning how to spot those signs of a compromise.
Right.
Like the first line of defense.
Absolutely crucial.
Or can be like those digital detectives, you know? Looking for those subtle clues
I like that.
that something just ain't right.
Mm.
But then we're going to switch gears.
Okay.
Go from defense to offense. And I'm going to arm you with all the knowledge you need to fight back and prevent those attacks from happening again.
Sounds good.
So you ready to become an Android security pro?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right, so this script dives right into the red flags, you know? Those kind of sneaky ways your phone might be trying to tell you, hey, something's wrong here.
Yeah.
And it's not always obvious, you know? Like sometimes it's not going to be like a big flashing siren.
It can be pretty subtle.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, have you noticed, for example, if your data usage has suddenly gone through the roof?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
That's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Mm.
Because a sudden spike in data usage could be a sign of malware, right?
Oh, okay.
Communicating with its command and control center, sending out your personal information,
Oh, wow.
or even downloading more malicious stuff. You know.
So it's like it's phoning home? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's like sending out little carrier pigeons with all your data attached.
Wow, sneaky little pitch.
Now, different types of malware, they have different data usage patterns.
Okay.
So it's important to keep in mind what else is going on with your phone at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, context is key.
Exactly.
So, like, if you're not streaming a bunch of videos or downloading huge files,
Right.
and suddenly your data is just spiking, that's a huge red flag.
Yeah, it's like suddenly getting a massive electricity bill
Right.
when you haven't changed your usage at all.
Yeah, something's fishy.
Exactly. Something's definitely up.
All right, so we got those data hogs. What about battery life?
Oh, absolutely.
Could that be a sign?
You know, malware running in the background, that can just drain your battery.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Think about it this way. Malware, it's basically like this uninvited guest that's running amok
Oh, no.
inside your phone, eating up all your resources
Oh, gosh.
without your permission.
That's like a party crasher.
Exactly.
We can't get rid of.
Yeah, just draining all your snacks and drinks.
The worst.
So if your phone's suddenly dying really quickly, even if you're not using it heavily, that could be malware.
Okay, all right. So we've got data hogs, we've got the battery drainers.
Mm-hmm.
What about performance issues?
Oh, yeah.
Like my phone, it's slower than a snail in a traffic jam.
I've been there. It's frustrating.
Is that another sign?
It could be, yeah.
Okay.
Because malware can overload your phone's processor,
Mm-hmm.
and memory, causing it to lag, freeze up.
Oh.
It's like trying to run a bunch of really demanding programs on an old computer
Yeah.
with very little RAM.
The worst.
Everything just grinds to a halt.
So if your phone used to run smoothly, but now it's just laggy, apps are taking forever to load.
Yeah, then it's time to start investigating.
That's a good sign to look into it.
Exactly.
Okay, now what about pop-ups? I think we've all seen those.
Oh, don't get me started on pop-ups.
Those annoying little ads that just appear out of nowhere.
Yeah, those are the worst.
But is there a way to tell if they're more than just a nuisance?
Well, there is, yeah. While some pop-ups are just annoying, others could be a sign of something called adware.
Adware.
Yeah, it's a type of malware that bombards you with ads
Oh, okay.
to generate revenue for the attacker, basically.
Oh, so they're making money off of bugging me.
Exactly.
Oh.
So you got to pay attention to where they're appearing, these pop-ups.
Oh.
If they're popping up even when you're not browsing the internet
Oh, really?
or using a specific app, that's a big red flag.
Okay.
Because it could mean that adware has infected your device,
Oh, wow.
and it's just showing ads no matter what you do.
So it's like those telemarketers that call you during dinner.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Just will not take no for an answer.
Exactly. The digital equivalent of that.
The worst.
And then this script also mentions something about strange apps
Strange apps.
appearing on your phone.
Like apps I don't recognize.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's a huge red flag.
All right.
Because if you find an app that you don't remember installing,
Mm-hmm.
it could be spyware or adware or some other nasty software.
So they just kind of sneak in there when
Exactly.
you're not looking.
Installed, without your knowledge.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, this is a sign of a more serious compromise,
Okay.
and you should take action immediately.
So it's like finding a strange suitcase in your attic
That's a great analogy.
that you've never seen before.
Yeah, time to investigate.
Definitely time to
Yeah.
investigate.
Mhm.
All right, so what about other weird phone behavior? Like,
Yeah.
the script mentioned random reboots,
Oh, yeah.
phantom messages being sent,
Uh-huh.
even like unauthorized purchases. Is that a bad sign?
Those are all really bad signs, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Those are signs that something is seriously wrong.
Oh, okay.
So, random reboots could be caused by malware messing with your phone's operating system. Phantom messages could be a sign that your messaging app has been hacked
Oh, no.
and the attacker's sending messages on your behalf.
Ooh, that's creepy.
Yeah.
Like, what if it's sending messages to my ex? Oh, that would not be good.
That would be the worst.
Yeah, and unauthorized purchases are a clear indication that your financial info has been stolen
Oh, no.
and it's being used without your consent.
So it's like my phone has a mind of its own,
Oh.
making decisions without me.
It's like your phone's gone rogue.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah.
So if I'm seeing any of this stuff,
Yeah.
it's time to take action.
Take action immediately, yeah.
Okay, got it.
Absolutely.
So we've learned about all these red flags.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's talk about what to do if we suspect our phone has actually been compromised.
Okay, yeah,
The script actually outlines this really clear action plan.
right.
And the first step is to cut off the internet connection.
Yeah, that's a good first step.
It's like
Ugh,
slamming the door on a burglar, right?
that's a great analogy.
Who's already inside.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay. So disconnecting from the internet, both Wi-Fi and mobile data, that's crucial to prevent the malware from communicating with its, home base,
Right.
exfiltrating your data. Exfiltrating, wow, that sounds serious.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
We're downloading more malicious stuff.
Okay, so we're cutting off its lifeline.
Exactly.
All right, so we've isolated the intruder.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
So the next step is to uninstall any suspicious apps.
Okay, so if I've noticed any apps I don't recognize
Yeah, or if you think they might be malicious,
get rid of them.
get rid of them right away.
Okay, go into settings, find the app, uninstall.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we're evicting this unwanted house guest.
I like that, the eviction notice.
Out.
Yeah.
But what if it's disguised as a legitimate app
Right.
or hidden deep within the system?
That's where the next step comes in.
Okay.
Updating your software.
Oh,
Because software updates, both for your Android operating system
Mm-hmm.
and for the individual apps, they often include security patches
Okay.
that fix known vulnerabilities.
So it's like they knew there was a crack in the system.
Right. Well,
And
look,
they've patched it up.
think of these vulnerabilities like cracks in your defenses
Yeah. Right.
that hackers can exploit.
Okay.
So by updating,
Mm-hmm.
you're essentially patching those cracks and making it much harder
Solid.
for the malware to take hold.
Okay, so it's like reinforcing our digital walls
Exactly.
with the latest and greatest security measures.
Absolutely.
What about malware scans?
Malware scans, yeah.
Are those helpful?
Those are very helpful. They're like a digital health checkup
Okay.
for your phone,
Mm-hmm.
so they can detect and remove malicious software
All right.
that might be lurking on your device.
So you're saying I should get one of those?
You should, yeah.
Okay.
There are many reputable security apps
Okay.
available on the Google Play Store.
I've always wondered about those.
Yeah.
Do they really work?
They can be very effective, yeah,
Okay.
especially when used in conjunction with other security practices.
Right. Right.
So these apps use a variety of techniques to detect malware,
Okay.
including something called signature-based detection.
Signature-based detection.
Yeah, which basically looks for known malware patterns.
Okay.
And then there's something called heuristic analysis.
Heuristic analysis. Wow, that's a mouthful.
I know, right?
Okay.
But it basically identifies suspicious behavior
Okay.
that might indicate the presence of malware.
So it's like having a team of digital detectives
Exactly.
on your side,
On the case, working around the clock.
constantly looking for suspicious activity and
Yeah.
neutralizing those threats.
Exactly.
Okay, what about passwords?
Passwords, yeah.
The script mentions changing passwords for all accounts
Right, that's really important.
that you've accessed from your compromised device.
Yeah,
Why is that?
because if your phone has been compromised, there's a chance
Okay.
that your login credentials have been stolen.
Oh, no.
And hackers could use those credentials to access your email, social media accounts, financial institutions.
Ooh, that's bad.
Yeah, all sorts of sensitive information.
So by changing the passwords, you're basically...
You're invalidating those stolen credentials
Okay.
and preventing further unauthorized access.
So it's like changing the locks on your house
Yeah,
after a break-in.
exactly. That's a great way to put it.
But with so many accounts these days,
I know, right?
it's hard to keep track
It is.
of all those passwords.
Well, that's why it's a good idea to use a password manager.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
those
Mm-hmm.
do they actually work?
They're fantastic.
Okay.
They're like a secure digital vault
All right.
that stores all your passwords,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't have to remember them all.
Okay.
And it can also generate really strong,
Okay.
unique passwords for each of your accounts.
So it's like a personal assistant.
It
Great
it
passwords.
takes care of all that for you.
Keeps them safe and
It
organized.
keeps them all in one place.
All right, what if we've tried all this stuff and we're still not sure
Mhm.
if our phone's clean?
Right.
The script mentions this nuclear option,
The nuclear option.
the factory reset.
Mm-hmm.
What's that all about?
Well, a factory reset, it's basically a last resort,
Okay.
but it can be really effective
Right.
in removing stubborn malware that other methods haven't been able to eliminate.
Okay.
It essentially wipes your phone clean,
Whoa. Wow.
restores it back to its original factory settings,
Oh, wow.
just like you took it out of the box for the first time.
That seems intense.
It is, yeah.
So it erases everything.
It does erase all your data, yeah.
Oh, wow. So photos, videos, contacts, apps, everything.
Everything, yeah.
So it's like hitting the reset button on your whole digital life?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
So before you do a factory reset,
Mhm.
it's super important to back up all your important data.
Okay. All right. So you got to back everything up.
Yeah, to a secure location like a cloud storage service
Mhm.
or an external hard drive.
So it's like having a safety net
Exactly.
before you jump into the digital abyss.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, but what if the problem isn't just with the software?
Right.
What if it's like with the SIM card or the phone's firmware?
That's a trickier situation.
Yeah.
That might require some specialized assistance.
Okay.
So if you suspect that your SIM card or firmware has been compromised,
Mm-hmm.
the best thing to do is to contact your mobile carrier
Okay.
or the phone's manufacturer.
So like call in the specialists
Exactly.
when you've got a really tricky problem.
Yeah, because they have the tools and expertise
Okay.
to diagnose and address those kinds of issues.
Okay, so we've learned a lot about how to recognize the signs of a hacked Android
Mm-hmm.
and what steps to take if
Right.
we suspect we've been targeted.
Yeah,
But how can we prevent these attacks from even happening in the first place?
that's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's actually what we'll be focusing on next.
Okay.
Preventing a hack is always easier than dealing with the aftermath, so let's talk about some proactive security measures.
Okay, so we're moving from reaction to prevention.
Exactly.
Sounds good to me.
Prevention is always better than cure, right? So let's move on to part 2, where we'll explore some powerful tips and strategies for staying one step ahead
Okay.
of those pesky hackers
Yeah.
and keeping your Android device safe and sound.
All right, sounds good to me.
Let's do it.
All right, so we covered a lot of ground on how to spot a hack and how to recover from one.
Right.
But let's shift gears a little bit and talk about prevention.
Okay.
Like, what can we do to make our Android devices less attractive
Yeah.
to those pesky hackers?
You're thinking like a true security pro now.
Oh, well, I try.
Yeah, prevention is key.
Mm-hmm.
Much easier to stop a hack before it happens than to deal with all of the fallout after.
Right, right.
Good place to start is with your app sources.
You mean like where we download our apps from?
Exactly.
Okay.
Think of it this way. Downloading apps from unknown sources.
Mm-hmm.
It's like buying food from a street vendor
Okay.
with no health inspection rating.
Oh,
You might get lucky and get a delicious and safe meal, but you also risk getting something that'll leave you with a nasty case of digital food poisoning.
oh no, I don't want that.
Yeah, so stick to the reputable app stores like Google Play.
Okay, stick to Google Play. Got it.
Exactly, because Google Play has those security measures in place to vet the apps,
Mm-hmm.
weed out the malicious ones.
Okay.
Not foolproof, of course,
Right.
but it reduces your risk
Okay. That makes sense.
compared to downloading apps from random websites or, third-party app stores.
All right, so Google Play, it's our safe haven.
Safe haven for apps, that's right.
What else can we do?
Let's talk about two-factor authentication,
Oh, yeah, two-factor, 2FA.
or 2FA. Have you ever set that up on any of your accounts?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I mean, it's a little bit of a hassle sometimes. Got to enter the code from my Authenticator app or wait for the text message. But,
Right.
I mean, it's worth it, right?
It's definitely worth it.
Okay.
It adds that extra layer of security by requiring not just your password, but also something you have, like your phone, or something you are, like your fingerprint.
Mm-hmm.
And this makes it much harder for hackers to gain access, even if they manage to steal your password.
Okay, so it's like that, it's like having a deadbolt in a security guard.
Exactly. 2 layers of
Like
protection.
for your digital front door.
I like that analogy.
But you mentioned different types of 2FA, right?
Yeah,
Are some better than others?
that's a good question.
Yeah.
So SMS-based 2FA, where you get a code via text message,
Right, right.
it's better than nothing,
Okay.
but it's not the most secure.
Really? Why not?
Because there's this thing called SIM swapping attacks.
SIM swapping.
Yeah, where hackers trick your mobile carrier
Oh, no.
into transferring your phone number to a SIM card they control.
Oh, wow. So they could basically intercept my messages
Exactly.
and bypass the 2FA.
Exactly. They could just get those codes.
Oh, that's scary.
So that's why using an authenticator app, or even better, a hardware security key, is generally recommended.
Okay, so authenticator app or security key. Got it.
Much more secure.
2FA is a must
It's a must-have.
for any security-conscious Android user.
Absolutely.
All right, so what else? What other tips do you got?
Let's talk about public Wi-Fi.
Oh, yeah, public Wi-Fi, super convenient.
It's convenient, but it can be a security nightmare.
Because anyone could be snooping on our activity.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Because public Wi-Fi networks often lack encryption,
Okay.
meaning that your data is being transmitted in plain text,
Oh, wow.
visible to anyone with the right tools and know-how.
So it's like I'm having a conversation in a crowded room, and anyone could be listening.
It's like you're shouting your secrets from the rooftops.
Oh, no, I don't like that.
Yeah, so even if you're just browsing the web or checking social media, you could be putting your info at risk.
Okay. All right, so avoid the sensitive stuff,
Especially the sensitive stuff, yeah.
like banking or shopping.
Yeah, online banking, shopping, things like that.
When I'm on public Wi-Fi.
Exactly. And if you absolutely have to use public Wi-Fi for those kinds of tasks, then using a VPN is essential.
You keep mentioning VPNs.
Yeah, VPNs are really
Can you
important.
explain, like, how they work?
Sure. So a VPN, or virtual private network,
Okay.
creates a secure encrypted tunnel
Okay.
between your device and the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So all your internet traffic is routed through this tunnel,
Okay.
making it much harder for hackers to intercept and steal your data.
So it's like sending my data in an armored car
Exactly.
instead of like an open convertible.
I like that analogy.
All right, so how do I choose a good VPN?
That's an important question.
Yeah.
Not all VPNs are created equal.
Okay.
Some are free, while others are paid.
Right.
And the level of security and privacy they offer can vary widely.
So do your research, basically.
Yeah, do your research. Choose a provider that has a good reputation for security, doesn't keep logs of your activity,
Okay.
and has a clear privacy policy.
Okay, so it's all about trust.
Exactly.
All right, so what other proactive measures can we take?
Let's talk about app permissions.
App permissions.
This might seem like a small thing, but it's actually really important for security.
You mean those little pop-ups that ask if an app can access my camera?
Exactly. Those are app permissions.
Microphone, location.
Yep, those are the ones.
Okay.
They control what data and features an app can access on your phone.
I'll admit, I usually just click allow without even thinking about it.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Is that bad?
It can be,
Okay.
because some apps request permissions that are completely unnecessary.
Really?
Yeah, for their functionality, for example.
Okay.
Why would a simple calculator app
Right.
need access to your contacts or your location?
Yeah, I guess it wouldn't.
It's likely that the app is collecting this data for other purposes, like targeted advertising or even malicious activity.
Oh, so it's like giving someone the keys to your entire house
That's a great analogy.
when all they wanted to do was borrow a cup of sugar?
Exactly. Got to be careful who you give those keys to.
All right, so permission patrol
Permission controls is important.
is a must.
Absolutely.
All right, what about before I even download an app? Is there anything I can do to get a sense of whether it's safe or not?
Yeah, user reviews
Oh, okay.
can be a valuable source of information.
Right.
So before you download an app, take a few minutes to read through the reviews from other users.
Right.
Look for red flags like complaints about too many ads, crashes, or requests for unnecessary permissions.
So it's like checking the reviews for a restaurant before
Exactly.
you eat there.
Exactly. You don't want to go to a place with a bunch of bad reviews.
Right, because if everyone's complaining about bad service or food poisoning,
Yeah, probably not the best choice.
you'd probably pick a different place.
Exactly. And user reviews can give you valuable insights
Okay.
into an app's behavior
Mm-hmm.
and help you avoid potentially harmful apps.
So reviews are good.
Reviews are your friend.
All right. And,
Speaking of avoiding harm,
yeah.
there's one more tool you should have in your security arsenal.
Okay, what is it?
Find My Device.
Find My Device. I've heard of that.
Yeah?
It's like a GPS tracker for your phone, right?
It is, but it's much more than that.
Really?
Yeah, it allows you to locate your phone remotely. which
Okay.
is incredibly helpful if it's lost or stolen.
Right.
But you can also remotely lock your phone,
Oh, wow.
display a message on the screen.
So if someone finds it, they can see like, hey, call this number.
Exactly. And you can even erase all your data.
Wait, so if my phone falls into the wrong hands,
Yeah.
I can just wipe it clean?
You can with just a click of a button.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
This can prevent sensitive information
Right.
from falling into the hands of hackers or thieves.
Okay.
It's a really powerful tool.
All right, find my device. That's going on my to-do list.
Definitely enable that.
We've covered a lot of ground in this little cybersecurity boot camp.
We have.
From choosing our app sources to enabling 2FA, using a VPN on public Wi-Fi.
It's a good foundation.
Yeah, I feel like I've got a solid foundation now.
You're well on your way to becoming an Android security pro.
I like the sound of that.
But remember, cybersecurity is an ongoing journey.
It's not a one-time thing.
It's not a destination. No.
Okay.
The threats are constantly evolving, and so are the best practices for staying safe.
So we got to stay vigilant.
Exactly.
And adaptable.
Always learn and adjusting our strategies.
Staying informed is key.
Absolutely. Keep up with the latest security news.
Okay.
Read articles, blog posts. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Speaking of questions,
Yeah?
there's one thing I've been wondering about.
Okay.
We've talked about all these technical measures,
Right.
but what about the human element?
Oh, the human element.
Yeah, I mean, aren't we often our own worst enemies when it comes to security?
You've hit the nail on the head.
Really?
Human error is one of the biggest security vulnerabilities out there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We can have all the fanciest security systems in place, but if we fall for a phishing scam or use a weak password, we're essentially handing over the keys to our digital kingdom to the hackers.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, human error is a big one.
So how do we avoid those pitfalls?
That's a great question, and it's something we'll explore in detail in our next segment.
Okay.
We'll dive into the psychological aspects of cybersecurity,
All right.
discuss common scams, social engineering techniques,
Okay.
and equip you with the knowledge and skills to outsmart those sneaky hackers.
All right. I'm ready
Let's do
to
this.
level up my security game.
Level up, that's right.
Let's continue this deep dive in part 3
Okay.
and uncover all the secrets to staying safe from those human-engineered threats.
Sounds good to me.
All right, so we talked about the technical stuff for Android security, like app permissions and VPNs. But as we were saying before,
Right.
sometimes the weakest link in the chain is us,
It's
the
true.
users.
Yeah, we can have the best defenses in place, but
Right.
if we fall for, a tricky phishing email
Right.
or we use a weak password, then we're kind of handing over the keys to our digital kingdom to those hackers.
It's like having that state-of-the-art security system for your house, but leaving the front door wide open.
Exactly. A good analogy.
Yeah. So let's talk about those phishing scams.
Okay.
I know they're pretty common, right? Hackers use them to trick people
Very calm.
into giving up sensitive information, but
Yeah.
how can we actually spot them and avoid falling into those traps?
So phishing attacks are designed to trick you into believing that you're interacting with a legitimate entity, like your bank, social media platform,
Right.
even a government agency. And they often use emails, text messages, even phone calls to treat and lure you in.
I've gotten those emails before, the ones that look like super official and urgent,
Right.
telling me I need to update my account information or click a link to avoid some horrible consequence.
Yeah, and that sense of urgency, that's a common tactic
Oh, okay.
used by these phishers because they want to pressure you
Right.
into acting quickly without really thinking things through.
Yeah. So don't panic, I guess, is the message.
Exactly. Don't panic.
Oh.
Take a moment, think it through.
Mm-hmm.
The key to avoiding these scams is to be really vigilant and skeptical.
Okay.
Scrutinize those emails and messages really carefully,
Right.
especially if they're asking for personal info or urging you to click on a link.
So if something seems fishy,
Mhm.
it probably is.
It probably is, yeah. Trust your gut.
Okay, what are some telltale signs that an email or message might be phishing?
So look for things like misspellings, grammatical errors, awkward phrasing.
Oh, okay.
Legitimate organizations usually have pretty professional-looking communications.
Right.
So these types of errors, they're a big red flag.
Okay, and what about the sender's address?
Yeah, that's a really important one.
Okay.
Pay close attention to that email address
Okay.
because phishers often use addresses that are very similar to the real organization, but with like slight variations or misspellings.
Like if I get an email that looks like it's from my bank, but the sender's address is like bankofamerica.scam.net or something.
Exactly. That's a huge red flag.
Yeah, okay, that's a giveaway.
Yeah, run away.
And what about links?
Links, yes. Never click on links
Okay.
in emails or messages unless you're absolutely sure
Right.
they're legitimate.
Okay.
Go directly to the organization's website
Okay.
by typing the address into your browser or using your bookmarks.
Right.
That way you can avoid being redirected to a fake website.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah,
So basically, be cautious, be
Yeah.
skeptical.
absolutely.
All right, what about those weak passwords?
Yes, the bane of cybersecurity.
We've all been guilty of it.
We all have.
Using the same password for multiple accounts,
Right.
or choosing one that's easy to remember.
Yeah, but also easy for hackers to guess.
Exactly.
So how do we create a strong, secure password that we can actually remember?
Yeah.
So a good rule of thumb is to use a passphrase instead of a single word.
Passphrase.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's just a string of random words that you can easily remember,
Okay.
but it's very difficult for a computer to guess.
So instead of using like password 123,
Please don't use password 123.
I could use something like
Yeah.
purple elephant dancing salsa.
Exactly. That's a great passphrase.
Okay.
Much more secure,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still pretty easy to remember.
Right. Right.
And for added security, you can capitalize some letters, throw in a few numbers,
Hmm.
or special characters.
Okay. So make it even more complex.
Yeah, a little bit of spice.
All right. But with so many online accounts these days,
I know.
how do I keep track of all those passphrases?
Well, that's where a password manager comes in handy.
Oh, right. The password manager.
Yeah, it's like a secure digital vault that stores all your passwords
Mm-hmm.
and allows you to access them with a single master password.
So I just got to remember one.
Just one. That's it.
Oh,
And it's much more secure than writing down passwords.
right. Like on a sticky note.
On sticky notes, yeah. Please don't do that.
Or keeping them in a plain text file on my computer.
Yeah, that's a big no-no.
Okay, so password manager, digital vault.
Secure and organized.
What other human-related security risks should we be aware of?
So another big one is social engineering.
Social engineering. Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard of it, but I don't really know what it is.
So it's basically a broad term that encompasses various techniques
Okay.
for manipulating people into divulging confidential information
Mm-hmm.
or perform actions that compromise security.
So they're tricking us, basically.
They're tricking you. Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Well,
Using your human nature against you.
all right. Can you give me some examples?
Sure. So one common technique is called pretexting,
Pretexting.
where the attacker creates a completely fabricated scenario
Okay.
to gain your trust
Mm-hmm.
and then trick you into revealing information.
Oh, okay.
So, for example, they might call you pretending to be from your bank's fraud department,
Okay.
claiming that they need to verify your account details.
So they're like playing a role,
They're playing a role. Exactly.
trying to create a sense of urgency to get what they want.
Exactly, to catch you off guard.
Okay, that's scary.
Another common one is baiting,
Baiting?
where the attacker offers something really enticing,
Right.
like a free download
Okay.
or a gift card,
Mm-hmm.
to lure you into clicking on a malicious link or downloading some malware.
It's like those "you've won a free iPad" scams.
Exactly. Those are classic baiting scams.
All right, so how do we avoid these social engineering tricks?
So the key here is to be aware of the tactics they use
Okay.
and to be very cautious about who you trust online and over the phone.
Right.
If something seems too good to be true,
Yeah.
it probably is.
If it sounds too good to be true,
Yeah.
it probably is.
That's a scam.
All right, so trust my instincts.
Trust your gut.
Don't be afraid to be a little skeptical.
Skepticism is your friend.
And if I'm ever unsure,
Yeah,
just contact the organization directly
absolutely.
through official channels.
Verify the request.
Okay, so we've talked about phishing, weak passwords, social engineering.
Lots of human-related risks.
What other advice do you have for staying safe in this increasingly digital world we live in?
So one final thought. Cultivate a security-aware mindset.
Security aware.
Yeah, this isn't about being paranoid
Right.
or constantly fearing the worst.
Okay.
It's just about being informed, proactive,
Okay.
and taking those simple steps to protect yourself and your data.
So it's like being empowered, not intimidated.
Exactly.
Hit on this.
That's a great way to put it.
All right. Well, you've given us a lot to think about today.
It's been a pleasure.
I feel like I've graduated from cybersecurity boot camp
You have. You've passed with flying colors.
with a whole new set of skills and knowledge.
And remember, security is a journey, not a destination.
Right.
The threats are always evolving, so we have to stay informed.
Stay vigilant.
Stay vigilant.
And adapt.
Adapt our strategies.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us.
It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
That's a wrap on another deep dive.
Until next time.
Until next time, folks.